Now here's David Smoke, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoke.
All right, a couple of texts, some calls. Love it. Appreciate you. On our text line is 254-339-1122. YouTube chat continues to roll along. Craig Smoke to my right, Paul Catalina to my left. In our studio today, Marquise Hayden. Hayden's a troublemaker at times. He's getting a lot of people riled up on that YouTube roll. Also, Emma, and then Armstrong, who has to be called, he tells me, the genius. From the 352, the NFL is going to get pissed because players are going to stay in school to make more money. Watching you guys on YouTube, there are a bunch of one-person intelligent perspectives. It's nice to have three, like sports was covered a decade or so ago. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's very kind
for watching.
That really
listening.
means the world to me to say.
No, that really is probably one of the nicest things we've heard in a long time. That's a really cool thing to say.
Yeah.
And as far as that goes, I mean, NFL money's still way larger than the college football money. I mean, Quinn Ewers, okay, let's say he does make $1 million by enrolling at Ohio State earlier, or whatever the case may be. That $1 million is not even his signing bonus if he pans out. Now, for the guys who maybe don't have those NFL futures, you're absolutely right, but then the NFL wouldn't really care that much.
Here's where I think it's going to change things, and where I'm hoping it does, is that a guy who leaves because he needs to make money right away and could be a second or third round pick if he stays another year, winds up being a sixth round pick and making less money, but he needs that money anyhow. I think that'll help it. I think that's where it'll balance it out. The guys who are going to be first round picks are going to leave.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're going to leave anyway. The guys who are going to be second round picks are probably going to leave anyway. But the third through seventh rounds, I think that will get maybe smoothed out a little bit more in that you won't have guys jumping in before they're ready because they need that check.
Especially when you're making seven figures before you've thrown 20 passes or so.
I mean, that story in particular is going to be really interesting to see how that plays out because, I mean, if Quinn Ewers does decide to go ahead and leave South Lake Carroll, I mean, from a community standpoint, I absolutely hate that. Texas high school football isn't as big as it is because of the star power. I mean, that definitely contributes, but it's more about just the tradition and of all things, it's about the communities. It's about these schools. It's about these people from these communities. And I assume that's what it's like elsewhere around the country. So this is not about community. This is just an entirely selfish decision. And I understand. I'm not knocking Quinn Ewers for it. He's got to do what's best for him. But I just hate the idea of guys not playing their senior years of high school to go make a few, in his case, a lot of bucks. But, I mean, dude, that's going to be there for you in a few months. I don't know why you feel the need now. I don't know. Maybe his family needs the money. I don't know. I mean, I think of South Lake Carroll, and I don't think of people that probably need that much money, but you never know. So, I mean, that's one thing. Like, if a guy does it because they need to keep the lights on, I don't fault them for that. But if it's just a move where you don't even really need that, to make ends meet, and you're doing it just to go get that money grab, I don't know. That doesn't really sit well with me, but hey, it's his decision.
By the way, for those of you who are from outside of Texas, and dozens and hundreds and thousands of, I'm not hundreds of thousands, but thousands and thousands of you are, South Lake Carroll is one of the most rich tradition the last 30 years in Texas high school football, located up in the Dallas and Fort Worth area. And they have a running back from Klein Cain, Jaden Blues, committed to Texas, who's going to leave. He's going to not leave. He's going to bypass his senior year. He's a star running back down in the Houston area. And now with this, it's just kind of things are different, and it's flying by the way things are changing as well. Also, this is from a Brigham Young fan in the Pac-12. And, of course, we know that there's also maybe the mission statement and all that gets in the way. I didn't know this. Paul, you've been to Provo, right?
Ooh. No, I've been to Salt Lake.
Salt Lake. I'm sorry. I keep thinking Salt. Okay.
Salt Lake's the mothership.
The 831. Brigham Young is not a part of the Pac-12 conversation because, and I don't know if this is true or not, but Provo does not have a Delta hub. Simply put, the airport is too small. Well, West Virginia, you don't fly into Morgantown. You fly into Baltimore and Pittsburgh, right? So that I don't know if that would be the reason why, but I appreciate it, though.
Our airport's not that big, but the charters can land here.
Yeah, they can. And there's some cities where it's just not large enough at all.
So Ross Dellinger and Sports Illustrated have obtained the cease and desist letter. Are you interested in that?
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay, so the cease and desist letter the Big 12 sent to ESPN, here we go. Dear Burke Magnus, ESPN, this is who it's directed towards, the president of programming and original content. It has come to my direct attention that ESPN, the current business partner of the Big 12, has taken certain actions that are intended to not only harm the Big 12, but to result in financial benefits for ESPN. Setting aside ESPN's potential involvement in the recent announcement by UT and OU they intend to lead the Big 12 in 2025, as to which we reserve all legal rights, I am aware that ESPN has also been actively engaged in discussions with at least one other conference regarding that conference inducing additional members of the Big 12 to leave the Big 12. As you know, our members have entered into contractual obligations to the Big 12 Conference under the amended and restated agreement related to the grant to the conference of the rights to televise their athletic events, aka the grant of rights. And it goes on to say the actions noted above are an attempt to interfere with and to induce our members to breach these contractual obligations to the conference and to encourage further conference realignment for the financial benefit of ESPN. And it goes on to eventually say that they're demanding the immediate cease and desist, and they will enforce every right. And that is from Robert A. Bowlesby II. A.k.a. Bob, commissioner of the Big 12. So not really holding back there, and saying outright, we know not only did you try and make moves with OU and Texas, but they're now telling them, we know you've tried to do it with at least one other team as well.
Yeah. Wonder who that is.
Yeah,
How
me
much
too.
I'm not legally very smart at all. I'm not at all. But how much of this is interference? How much of this is colluding? I understand that's a word that probably not, but you know what I mean? There's got to be something in here.
ESPN's colluding with somebody, but I think this from the Big 12 is at least interference.
Doesn't this mean you have some absolute evidence that something's going on? That, let's say they contacted Iowa State, Kansas, whoever, about joining another conference, and ESPN was a part of it, and then those schools actually did what you hope the 8 will do and stick together and say, hey, guys, look what we got. Well, this is what they contacted us and mentioned, by the way, and I don't know what's the facts, but that's very, very interesting. And that's also another shot across the bow.
By the way, when you get a chance, because I'm seeing most of the comments are about his signature, check out his signature.
Yeah,
it's kind of wild.
Like
but
R-U-T-T-T-T-T.
Yeah, it's like Rutberry or something, but it's Robert A. Bowlesby II. But yeah, that is a pretty matter-of-fact statement by Commissioner Bob Bowlesby. I think you can tell how pissed he is just from reading it. But, while the Big 12, fighting back, yeah, there's the signature. Look at that. That says Robert A. Bowlesby, apparently. I don't know, but hey. That is
Paul, you've seen mine before, right, Craig? You cannot get anything out of what mine is, but that's almost like he's stuttering all the way around.
Right.
Yeah. And Armstrong, great stuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry for pulling us off track, but that was like the most comments were immediately about that. But I mean, the fact that he directly mentions, we know that you have talked to at least one other team, that is juicy.
Well, I mean, and how many teams have they talked to that didn't cop to it?
Exactly right.
Yeah, that would be like, okay. All right, let's go.